In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the pronunciation and spelling of esoteric knowledge for its validity. I've been hit with that, and I think we all do. I used to think at some point in time in my development, there's some critical stuff here I don't understand. Honestly, many years ago, before I figured out any of this, I'm looking at people that I know, friends that are, that's like, well, they're happily married, they got kids, everything looks good. Well, they wear those kind of shoes. They drink that kind of tea. You're like, I don't know how to fix my life. How come I'm such a wreck? What can I do? Anyway, I think that people that are really looking on this path, looking for answers, if you're trying anything at first, you have no idea. Pronunciation and things like that become critical issues as well. And I can remember at some point being really like trying to be tight on that stuff. However, since then, I have done a complete turnabout, and I want to talk about that. And what I get hit with is the old way of spelling Tao Te Ching, just like this. And it's supposed to be, according to some people, updated to this, Tao Te Ching, that it was originally translated, and I don't even remember the details on it, and I don't care. Because of the turnaround. Again, there's a point in time in my development I thought that stuff was important, but it's not a good place to focus attention. And let me tell you why. The pronunciation doesn't matter. What if I went through Lao Tzu's book, the Tao Te Ching, and somebody handed it to me and said, here's some instructions, but it didn't say Tao Te Ching or Tao Te Ching or anything like that on it? What if it said little book of hidden knowledge, little book of, toilet verses, something like that? Would it change what you mentally interact with? There's no amount of what you call it that changes the way it works up here. I had a communication experience for several months long, several years back. I was listening to somebody on a YouTube channel that was reading the Hindu works. And I don't even remember what video it was. It was a long time ago, but I posted a comment, thanks for doing it, or something like that. And somebody said, yeah, you guys, you Western people, you got it not figured out right. The pronunciation is wrong. This is completely all wrong. And I'm like, well, what do you mean the pronunciation? And they go off on the frequencies and how things are, have to be done a certain way. And us, us Westerners that don't have it right, that think we know something. And I'm like, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I don't think pronunciation is an issue. I think that if I have to interact with a memory, that it doesn't matter how I pronounce that. I have to interact with a memory. And it doesn't matter if I'm thinking that in a language that is Chinese or something else. It doesn't. Why would that matter? What is different about humans? We become products of the way we process our thinking. And whether I call that judging life, experiencing pain, or anything like that, none of it changes. What I find now is that when people come at me with that kind of thing, it actually tells me where they are in their development, that they're very early on, that they haven't figured out what's going on, and they think it's important to have the right flavor of tea. That's my analog for this. Okay, and before I go on, I want to make sure that I specify that this is based on what I'm doing as far as interpretation of the analogs, or attempting to. It is very important for groups of people to pronounce things, to maintain things, to keep it, the historicity, all of that needs to be maintained. Scholars, and there's a lot of people, philosophers, people from around the world in antiquity that look at this stuff, and you can go listen to their stuff, you'll learn about it, it's pronounced correctly. You can see in the comment threads people thanking them. Well, thank you if you're stepping into my area over here using all these Jewish terms, thank you for pronouncing them correctly. And I appreciate all that. That's not what this is about right here. What this is about is the actual interaction of the material. When I get at this, I'm not looking at the historicity of it and the proper pronunciation and who's first or anything like that. What I'm doing is looking to see, is the template there? Yes, it is. I don't care where it comes from. Just let me interpret that and see if I can find any new pieces in it. So I kind of go somewhere different with it. Pronunciation, I don't care what's in there. But it bears talking about a little bit more because there are frequencies. Let me say that I find the frequency talk and the generation of frequencies and listening to frequencies and proper pronunciation and things like that occurring primarily in Hinduism and in New Age works. And that is because a lot of the material talks about frequencies, changing frequencies, transforming, transmuting, doing things like that, which are different ways of saying forgiveness, unnaming. They're all going to be analogous terms that are going to mean the same thing that are mental processes. And it doesn't matter what you call them or how you pronounce them. There are times where, and I've done this before, long ago, sit and meditate, listen to a frequency. You get done, you're there for half an hour or something like that. You get up and go, oh my God, I do feel good. That worked. Yeah, I'm going to do it again. And you do it, and after a couple of weeks, you're like, it doesn't work anymore. What happened? So what happens is you sit down and you're listening to something and you're focused on something, and while you're doing that, you're mentally engaging in a process. The frequency itself is capturing your attention. The frequency is a placebo. Your mind is what is doing what it needs to do. And what you're doing is finding peace and relaxation at that time. And you're using a frequency in the background. You could use meditation. You could use chanting. You could use silence, the sound of wind, the sound. You can use anything you want to. As long as you're focusing on that, it's going to make a difference. But it's not going to be permanent because the issues that are in place are still there. And if you think about it, what we do is we adjust. When something happens that makes you feel really bad, you eventually get used to it and you feel like you can carry that all the way. It's pulling you down. Your frequency, they're calling it, my frequency is dropping. What does that mean? I listen to a higher frequency to raise myself up. What's happening is you are accumulating hurt. That is why it's dropping down. To use a frequency to address that is it's a way to try to feel better while leaving the hurt in place. And even though you will go, okay, I do feel a little bit better right here because you're working around it, you adjust to that, and pretty soon it's like, it doesn't work anymore. And it's because you've adjusted to it. And if you found something different to do, you could elevate it again. But all the time what we're doing is adding more layers of some way to try to feel good on top of what we're holding that makes us feel bad to begin with. Yeah, however you pronounce that or however you say it or whatever language you say it in doesn't matter. So the person who recently told me, buddy, I don't think you know what you say about the Tao Te Ching because you don't even you still spell it the old way. I'm going to tell you something. It's originally Chinese. None of us are spelling it the right way. Use it up here. Okay, I made this video to send to... These are not fun in the comments section. Just tell people here, come here and look at this video. That's ridiculous. It's a mental process. An Indian saying you don't pronounce it right, and that's only a few. There were other Hindus on that thread that were on my side saying, yeah, it doesn't matter how it's pronounced. You could be from a different country, a Hindu from somewhere else that has an accent. Oh, it doesn't work anymore. You're not pronouncing it right. Yeah, that's not thinking it through very well. That's very physical. That's very not interpreting the material and thinking that it is literal. So around the world, all material suffers the same fate. It gets treated as literal by many people who are not interpreting it. Yeah, we're changing frequencies, but the frequency we're changing occurs at an emotional level. So all of a sudden, if you're making corrections and changing frequencies, you're going in and changing the way that you feel about something or that you're holding on to something so that it is no longer hurtful to you. Judgment, hate, rape, all those things are universal. If you really open up and step back and look at the world, we're all on this planet together trying to figure things out in various tribes that somehow are competing with each other. And when we're not agreeing, we're competing. And to get to a point where we're fighting and arguing over somebody's knowledge because they're not pronouncing something right is an indicator that that person has no idea what their knowledge has. They're a carrier of the knowledge. They fit the category too. Many are the ways that look outward. People that turn it inward, you will find that template. Hinduism is framed on that. And frequency doesn't matter. What matters is that you clear out your third eye, which is the massive crap that we have put in place during our life while we're perceiving life, experiencing life, and becoming that. And you can pronounce that any way you want to. In any language, you do that, you're good to go. Yeah. Spelling, pronunciation. It's what you do up here. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Love one another. See you in the next video.